Hello everyone, and we got ourselves another TwoSun today. This one is a Mazwan Mokhtar design. This is a TS139 Barracuda dash up. I don't honestly know exactly what has been upgraded or changed on this one in particular, because to me it looks about the same as the original one. So maybe they added a little bit of kind of swedge sort of thing to a bit of the spine. I'm honestly unsure. The steel's the same, and carbon fiber inlay is the same, and pretty much everything else I can see is kind of the same. So yeah, for one, I think this looks a bit like retro futuristic. And now I don't really mean like the whole 1950s atomic sort of thing with like the crazy round televisions with antennas pointing out. I'm talking more or less like you're talking like a futuristic microwave from the 80s maybe, especially with like a lot of these kind of not centered line sort of things, kind of off to the side or something like that. Which, I mean, to me, it's kind of cool because, I'm a child of that era and all that sort of good stuff. This is a titanium frame lock, and we do have carbon fiber inlays that are very, very much flush with the scales there. Pretty darn attractive. Now, this is a front flipper only. We do have a thumb disc here, but I'm not sure who or what it's actually designed for. It doesn't have any jimping on it whatsoever, and there's no actual access cutout to be able to try to get to it. So it's very difficult to actually attempt to use, and you do have to shoot out rather than up, which for me is always just a little bit more awkward. But does have a front flipper with plenty of jimping, and that works all right. And it does have jumping all the way up there, so, if you actually are good at that whole index finger flick that some people do with, like, the G5 Metamorph or the Kaiser Feist or something like that, then you can do that with this as well. For me, not super comfortable, but it is a way that people do like to open them. Yeah, we do have a pretty darn attractive clip on this guy too. I really do like the look of that. It is nice and rounded there. We have a decent amount of access for pockets and stuff like that. And the clip is mounted from the inside liner, which I always appreciate. Another thing I also appreciate a lot is the inside frame lock relief instead of being on the outside. A lot of times, if they do that, the reason they do that is because the clip can cause problems there, and it kind of looks like that might have been the case. But I do kind of wish that was just industry standard because I do like the way that it ends up looking a little bit more than having the relief on the outside. There you go. We also have a little lanyard hole loop sort of thing kind of built into the handles here. And as you can see, we have basically, this is a closed back design as a kind of borrowing that from a headphone kind of design. But yeah, it's very much true here. And that is a fantastic idea to do on this knife because the blade comes pretty darn close there. If it wasn't completely closed, you probably could end up biting yourself or whatnot on there. But that has kind of been subsided on this one just due to that. Now it's got a wharncliffe. That's, yeah, I guess just shy of 3.5 inches here. I could probably get a much more accurate result as long as I actually find my calipers. Wherever the heck I might have thrown those. Here, calipers. Aha. There we go. I knew that couldn't have gone far. Sorry about that. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on here with the blade. As long as this thing is actually going to be nice. These aren't exactly the most fantastic. And something is messing with them. Might be a magnet or something. Oh, I did have that a little bit tightened down. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Yeah, something's messing with it on this one. Alright, so yeah. We're just going to go ahead and say that that is right under 3.5 inches. I'll try and get an exact measurement for the spec list down below. But yeah, this thing is pretty neat. Here's, you know, something that I've kind of been a little annoyed with recently and whatnot. This is in S90V, and this is a very, very new design. There hasn't been very many of these Barracuda ups sold. I picked up one of the first few of them, but it came around and was manufactured around the same time as some of their new ones, like the button lock and the TS139-UP, little diamond plate guy, and some others. And yeah, this the steels, the heat treat is just not pretty good. I haven't done a full cut test on here because, you know, a lot of these straight bladed knives are really difficult to actually cut through rope. You kind of need a little bit more belly to them for that. So I'm thinking about, for something like these, trying to devise something a little bit easier, like using cardboard or something like that. It all depends on you know, how many shipments I actually get in from Amazon and other retailers, but yeah, I'll kind of figure it out. But yeah, this thing was very, very easy to sharpen, both on the belt as well as the diamond stones. So I don't really have a huge amount of faith that this thing was actually heat treated to a decent hardness. So, you know, probably 57 or something like that, or yeah, 56 to 58, probably, you know, somewhere right around there, rather than kind of what you want this stuff to be, which is at least 60 or higher to be able to get a lot of the main benefits out of it. I'll leave it at that because I've had some other rants and whatnot for it, but yeah. Let's see if we can't go ahead and find out the weight on this little duder here. Place it somewhere so y'all can actually see the readout. Alright, yeah, basically a little over 4.4 ounces or 125 grams. So yeah, it's certainly not that ounce and inch sort of thing, but a lot of that is also kind of this whole integrated back spacers sort of affair here. I suppose I should at least attempt to get a lot more measurements going here. So yeah, we got basically 0.55 inches here for the thickness, so it is fairly slender. Little tiny bit thicker than a PM2, which is kind of the one that a lot of people end up using there. And let's check the blade stock thickness. Yeah, we got 3.9 basically. Or, but yeah, no, this one was 4. That's right. Yeah, 4 millimeter for the blade stock. So a little thick, but you know, this is kind of a little bit more of a hard use sort of thing. And you know, something that I really do appreciate is basically how the back of this blade kind of matches up, but doesn't crash into the back here. That means if you are actually using it for doing a lot of down and forward cutting like I would with rope or something like that. That completely alleviates the hot spots that you would get there from knives that are going to have a completely open back on them. So I do absolutely like that. That's pretty neat. That and with the knives that I've carried the most over the years, they've all kind of been kind of closed back design like this. Whether it's like the Spyderco lockbacks or the Benchmade 940 or any of that sort of stuff, they all kind of have that sort of thing of, it's not open on the back. They're not using a lot of barrel spacers and whatnot. So I don't necessarily miss it on this design, but some people certainly might. It can definitely alleviate a lot of weight if you just have some barrel spacers or kind of a smaller back spacer there on the back. But I really do like this design instead. Something that you've probably noticed is there's no branding on the blade whatsoever other than the blade steel that's stamped on there. This is fairly common with Mazwan Mokhtar's designs with TwoSun. We'll actually see it on the inside here. So, with that being said, I suppose we should go ahead and take a look on the inside. Should just be T8 hardware all around. So we got that guy and the pivot. Looks like I went a little overboard on the Loctite when I put this together last. That's all right. Let go. All right, yeah. So here we are on the inside, and we can see, yep, we got their ceramic bearings in the nylon cage. But you can also see we have basically on this one, it's just kind of a laser etched rather than a full etch or an engraving or whatnot. But you have Mazwan's logo there. We have the TwoSun logo and even the name of the knife, which, hey, I haven't seen that from very much. And we can see the inside of this one is just a little bit different because these are integrated. They're not an additional piece. We still do have a little stud here that kind of fits in between them just for more security. And this is the weird lanyard loop sort of thing looking at it from the inside. No problem there. This is where the clip actually installs on there. Yet again, I do really want to commend this clip. It actually does work quite well and isn't crazy hot spotty or anything like that. So yeah, kudos for that. Still want to clean off some of that excess blue Loctite. But something that is just a little bit different on these guys is the carbon fiber is actually put in there with adhesive. So it's not something you can easily pop out if you want to do some anodization work on here. You can, but it's going to be a lot of extra work to be able to loosen that adhesive, get those out, and then re-adhesive when you put it all back together. For normal operation, that won't matter at all, but if you are in the whole camp of deciding that you'd like to anodize a lot of things to kind of make them look a little bit different than your own, this one's probably not going to be the best option for you. So yeah, we got an internal blade pin going on here, or stop pin, whatnot. So we don't have anything kind of in there, and that has that whole curvature sort of thing there. And I absolutely love that they brought it up to the corner, but didn't allow it to spill out. So it does a fairly decent job of rejecting pocket stuff. The one thing that I really do kind of wish was a little bit different on this guy as I just lose my whole train of thought here. D-shaped pivot. That would be nice, especially since this is an upgraded design. It's really not too difficult to use a pivot you already have and just notch out something on this particular side. It's really not the end of any worlds, but yeah, just something that I certainly like when it's there, just for the ease of disassembly and cleaning and all that sort of stuff. And generally with these closed back designs, I don't really feel the need to fully disassemble them all the time. A lot of times you can just, you know, get yourself a Q-tip and swipe it through the back there, or, you know, you could also use a canned air or an air compressor. You know, that all works super fine. Now this guy isn't super drop shutty, and it doesn't necessarily matter. I still don't really have blade play there, but yeah, the action on it is super smooth, but it does feel a little bit more like it's running on kind of nylon bushings than you know, a full roll of ball bearings kind of thing. Not necessarily a bad thing at all. And yeah, where that detent is right here. This one does not have a reverse detent on there. We're seeing a little bit more and more of those not having that on TwoSuns, but this is kind of a, you know, one of their older designs. But yeah, that does make it fairly easy for it's so far up that by the time that you actually you know, let go of the blade, you're well over the detent. And or if you really wanted to be ginger with it, you can use your index finger to kind of get that just a little bit more momentum to kind of close them up there. But yeah, this one doesn't really have much in the way of jimping for doing a reverse grip, and it's also fairly pointy back there, so it's probably not something that I would personally suggest if you're one predisposed to use knives in that particular grip fashion. But yeah, everything else I can really say about this guy is pretty darn good. You know, since you don't have a flipper tab, you don't really have a guard going up to the blade. But that's really no different from, you know, having a finger choil that goes right up to the sharpened edge either. And because it's quite jimped on both sides, you have a very good index and grip there. So I don't really feel that much of an issue is going to be going on there. The only thing that I would say I would change, besides the heat treat on the blade, obviously, would be, you know, possibly getting a bit of a cutout on the disc, or heck, just having a knurled edge on it or whatever to get actually some sort of grip or friction on it, so you don't have to push it out to try to deploy it. You know, it's something I've generally had kind of problem with thumb discs before, and it's something that a lot of other companies like Emerson and Cold Steel have kind of worked out over time. It just seems like this one is still kind of using some nice smooth ones, which, yeah, it looks attractive, but yeah, not super useful in everyday life. But yeah, this is the Barracuda, which, if you don't know, it's a type of fish. Whatever, it's a, you know, fairly long and slender one. That's kind of why he kind of chose that for this guy here. But yeah, this is basically everything that I got to say here on the TS139 Barracuda -up. Like I said, I'm not extremely familiar with the original design, so I'm not sure exactly what's changed, but I do kind of think it is a little bit more of just these extra spine angles that they've thrown on there, because everything else looks pretty darn identical. Oh, and you can't really, unless you're absolutely trying your hardest, get to the tip of that blade. So there you go. There's the end of it. I appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. and maybe subscribe.